Hi guys, okay, so today I am back with a craft project that I've been crazy about. I've made so many already. I think I've showed them before on my channel. Let me just show you what the final product looks like. They call these paper bag either folios, or maybe call them junk journals, or I've had some people buy them off of me and use them as sort of a greeting card. At the same time, they put in a letter. So this is the final result, and I'm going to show you how I make this. So I do have to give credit to, the first time I saw this was Camelia Crafts. I'll link her channel down below. I saw it on her channel and I've been hooked on her channel ever since. So that's where I learned how to do these paper bag folios or mini junk journals, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so let's get started. So you're going to need two paper bags. So these are the party favor size. They're 4.5 by 6. I get these at Michael's. I think they come in packs of 12. The thing is, I only buy them when they're on sale or I have a coupon, because it can get, you know, I mean, they're paper bags. Now I have tried to find a version of this on Amazon. I haven't been able to yet, but once I run out of these, I will be searching for something on Amazon that's more affordable. So you basically need this, maybe some washi tape. For example, I got this from, I think it was either Joann Fabrics or Hobby Lobby, and this was $5.47. I mean, you can't go wrong with this. Original price $12.99. There's 24 sheets in here. It's 12 by 12 inches, and they're gorgeous because they're printed on both sides with coordinating prints. Okay, so I thought, in the spirit of spring and Easter, you know, coming around, I thought this was very pretty. And in the back it has a pretty blue, it's like a slate blue with white little flowers. So I thought this was really pretty, and I figured these were nice coordinating washi tapes. And then we can use envelopes. I also have some cardstock. So you can either, hold on guys. So I have this craft cardstock. This is 5.5 by 7.5, and that's to make an extra flap on the little folio. So I always try to coordinate the colors. I particularly I always try to match it up with, you know, depending on the print, either brown paper bags and cardstock or white. Now I tend to like the brown more. I don't know why, I do. So we're gonna use brown today because I just think it's earthy. So let's get started. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the two paper bags and you're gonna open them, and you're going to basically flatten it out. Okay, now these corners get a little tricky, okay? So what I usually do is I take something, you know, this is my my little score tool, my Folio tool, and I just make sure that these little corners are going to bend the right way. It's not always perfect. Okay. So okay, that's what you want to get it to, okay? And then you do the same thing to the other side. Okay. So now, I always try to bend it, yeah, on this side where naturally it comes already folded, okay? So that would be on this side. So here's where it gets a little tricky. You just have to try to do your best to flatten this out. You don't want any of these wrinkles in there, okay? Okay, see, like this may bother me, but we're just going to ignore that because everything beautiful is not perfect. Okay, so there we go. Now you're gonna do the same thing to the second paper. Well, really, this doesn't matter. So because it doesn't matter because we're gonna cut it right here, okay? So now you could trim these edges, okay? Do you see how it's a little bit like it's a jagged edge? But I like that. I particularly like that. I think it looks very, I don't know, very organic. Okay, so on this side, we are going to cut this one as straight as possible. And actually, I should have cut it before. I didn't have to go through that trouble of, you know. All right. So we've got this, okay? Now, because I like things to kind of align, and I like to make sure that they are straight as possible, I will take this piece, the edge where I cut, and I'll try to straighten it out. See, because if you see, do you see how it's not really straight? So it doesn't have to be perfect, guys, but okay. So I'm gonna take the paper trimmer and just shave off that little piece. Okay, and now we have a nice straight edge on this side. Okay. What we're gonna do now is we are going to take some glue. I like using this original Aleene's original tacky glue, okay? And we are going to apply glue on the inside, okay? And we're just gonna glue, this is almost empty. Okay. I'm gonna flip it, do the same thing to the other side. Okay, now we're going to also glue this open edge. And I always like to kind of press down to prevent the glue from doing this. Now, the paper bag's gonna have the seam where the manufacturer has, you know, glued it together. So this is always gonna be on the inside because I don't want this to be on the outside. So what you're gonna do is you're going to overlap. I always try to put the jagged edge, or maybe I shouldn't, because it doesn't really matter and that would look nice, but I'll do it the way I've always done it. All right, so this is where the seam is. So the seam, this is the inside of your folio, okay? Because now after we glue this, we're gonna bend it. We're gonna fold it. Okay, so what I do is I put this little jagged edge on top of this one, and there's about, I'd say, I'm not good at measurements, guys. Well, it's almost an inch. Yeah, it's almost an inch overlap. So if you can see that, it's almost an inch overlap, okay? Now, here's the thing. This is not going to be perfectly aligned because none of this has perfect straight edges. But, so the seam of this paper bag is here as well. So this is going on the inside. So you try to align these seams, you see these seams, as much as possible, leaving the same amount of overlap here on the bottom as you are leaving on the top. Okay. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to glue this, okay? Okay, so the good thing about this glue, it's very forgiving in the sense that you can always adjust it. See how it still moves a little bit. So there we go. All right, so we've glued it. If you want, you can take let's see, where is that little, okay, I don't know what they call this. Flatten it out as much as you can. And also here on these edges, you want to do that as well. Okay, this little flap we're going to glue as well, okay? Okay. All right. Now we're going to take this and fold it over, but just, I'm not going to fold the seam just yet because I want to make sure that I'm leaving enough space here where once I put all my other little things in here, like little pockets and stuff, that I'm still going to have room to bend this over without it pushing against this seam, this edge, okay? So I always like to leave, first let me bend this one. That's what I should have done first, okay. Let's bend this side first, right up to where the flap meets here, okay? So we're going to bend that, make sure that the seams, these little seams align, and then just bend it, making sure that this is straight and this is lining up. There we have our little flap. Now this side has to come, and you see how I'm leaving this little bit of space here? So I am going to fold it right here. Okay. And then this is where I want to make sure it folds up. There we go. I like to flatten it out. First, I like to push it out. I don't want to force it. Okay, and then I'll go up and down, but not too much because we don't want to score it where this is going, we're going to compromise this edge, okay? So there we have our little folio. And you see how the seam in here is in here, and then the other seam is not visible here, but it is in the back, and that's fine. Now, we could totally leave it like this, okay? And then maybe just put, you know, one pocket here and one pocket here. But I like to then add a little bit, I like to add an extra flap. So that's why I know they're different, but don't worry because most of this is going to be covered up. Now, I'm going to take this and I'm going to take my scoreboard. Okay. And I'm going to score it right here. So this is 5.5. I'm going to score it here at the 5-inch mark. Okay. Now, let me, where's the other one? This one. Okay, so it's 5.5, but we're gonna score it right here at the 5-inch mark. Now, we don't want, and I've made this mistake myself, and this is why I'm telling you, you don't want to go in too hard, okay? Because then you are going to, okay, see, we've made the score and we're just gonna bend it here. We don't want to tear the other side, okay? So there, we have our little flap. And now what we're going to do is, this is the inside of our folio and this is our flap. We're going to glue it right here on this edge, okay? Because then what we're gonna have is, and we're gonna bring it right to the edge of this flap. So what we're gonna have is 1, 2 folds, okay? So we're gonna place our glue on this side. So we've got our glue there, and we're going to glue it down here, making sure that we bring it to the edge. Now, since these are not perfectly straight, sometimes you see what we're having here, it might go a little bit over. So what you do is you just play with it, okay? And try to make it as straight as possible. There we go. And just make sure you press down on it. Okay. So now what we have, and this glue, I mean, it's forgiving that you can, you know, move things around, but it sets rather quickly. So now we have our folio, our little flap. We open it, we have this flap, the inside. So now I am going to cover up, okay, the front cover of the folio and the back with this gorgeous print. So now I take my cardstock that I selected, and you have to be careful with the way your pattern is directed. If you have a pattern that has no, you know, it doesn't matter how you place it, you don't have a problem. But when you have a pattern like this, you know, you got to make sure that you're putting it, laying it down correctly. So I'm going to leave a little bit of an edge on this side and this side. Why? Because these edges are not perfectly straight. Okay, and even when I cut it, it's not going to be straight. So I leave a little bit here. So I just, with a pencil, right there, and then right here. Okay, so yeah, that should be good. And then I take my 12 by 12 cutter and I find where I made that little pencil mark, which is right here. So I take that to, I'm sorry about the shadows. I'm trying to do my best with this lighting situation, but I hope this comes across okay. Okay, so I place it right here and up against the edge to make sure I get a straight cut. Now, this is not always perfect, guys, okay? So, oops. Okay, this paper cutter has a little metal wire. Do you hear that? So that you can align it to the mark that you made. But I am going to take it from the top and just bring it down around the spot where I made my cut at the bottom, because I'm going to use this piece as well. I don't like to waste any paper. So I think that's about it. And then I'm going to turn it around. And then down here, this is my pencil mark. I'm going to try to line it up as good as possible. I'm going to try to line it up. Okay. Okay. And then cut across up to where I cut this piece. You see that? Okay. So that's the front. Now, so this is going to go here. And if you can see, this is going to leave a little bit of an edge of the paper bag all around. You see that? It's gonna leave that little edge here, and I just think that looks really pretty. All right. But we know that we also have to do the same for the back. So I'm going to make my marks again. This lines up with this, so I need to make sure that I'm going to I'm going to continue to cut it down here, but here this is where the little flap bends, so I have to make sure that, okay, I'm going to cut it around here, okay? Okay, you know what? Okay, so now I'm going to put it on this side because I have more paper to control it here. Okay. There we go. Okay, that took a little while. All right, so this scrap will be used, okay? So, let's see. Right, this lines up perfectly. So we said this is the front and this is the back. Okay, so now we're going to take some of the glue and we're going to lay a strip of glue all the way around and then just maybe a couple of dots or strips in the middle, okay? We're going to lay it down, making sure that you leave that little border of the paper bag all around, okay? Now I could have put the washi tape here, like I said in the beginning, to reinforce this, but I think we're gonna be good. Then I press it all the way around, make sure that, okay, now you see how this lines up? Okay, I'm going to turn it around and paste and glue this in the back, okay. And see, we're covering up that seam. Okay, making sure that we leave an edge all around. And then we press down. So now you've got your front cover and your back cover, okay? So there you go. All right. Now, for this little flap, I've done some of these where I either use the reverse side of it, okay, which it does coordinate, but I tend to like it more when it's just the same pattern. Now with the scrap that I have left over, now my pattern is facing this way, and that's fine because this is the flap, okay? Now this, I have not found an easy way to do this, guys. This is just, it's eyeballing it, because just like with the front cover and the back cover of this folio, I like to leave a little edge around it. Now, so what I do is, okay, so I just, let's see, kind of, oh my God, no, I did something wrong. Oh, no. Oh, I was supposed to cut it here. Why did I cut it there? What? Okay, you see, we all make mistakes. All right, so it was supposed to be right here. Even with my readers, I can't see. Yeah, see, it was supposed to be here. All right, so that means I'm gonna have to get the other, I didn't want to do that, but I'm gonna have to. So, let's see, I know there's another one. Oh, please let there be another one. Oh, yes. Okay. All right. Let's do this again. And I'm going to look for that pencil mark right here. Okay. Let's just make sure. Yep. Okay. There we go. Yeah. It's a big difference, right? Okay. So now I just move on to a smaller paper cutter because I don't need that much now. Okay, so now we're leaving an edge here. We're leaving an edge here, but let me flatten this out a little bit more. Okay. So it's got to face this way, the pattern, okay? So, okay. Oh gosh. This is, you have to eyeball it, guys. Okay, maybe I didn't leave enough of a border, but that's fine. Okay. All right. So now we know that this edge is right here, and then this edge is right here. This one's right here, and this one's right here. But I also want to leave an edge here and here. So I need to make sure that when I cut it, I cut this a little bit more than where my pencil marks are to leave the edge. Okay. Here as well, I want to leave a little bit of an edge, so I'm going to cut it in, cut that little piece off. Okay, and then the same on this side. And I always try to place the straightest edge, and that's the one I'm going to cut against. Okay. Okay, let's see how this turned out. Okay, not bad at all. Not bad at all. there is an edge on all sides. Okay, there's an edge here, there's a border. There's a border all around. Maybe here I cut a little too much, maybe here I didn't. You know what, I think I'm gonna cut a little bit more on this side. Yeah, it's a little better. Okay, so now we're just gonna glue this down. Okay, so I'm gonna play with it, move it around just a little bit. There we go. Now I'm just gonna press it down. There's an edge all the way around. Now, if I see any little gaps, I have this little bottle which has a very thin tip. What I'll do is I'll get in there and put some glue in there. Okay. And even if it comes out, I'd rather it come out than not have any glue on there. And then I'll just check the edges to make sure there's no edges without any glue. And sometimes it doesn't come out until it's fully dry. See, like here, I wanna, let's see. Yeah, here. Here on this edge too, I think. Let's see. And here. Okay. Okay, so we've got the flap, we've got the front cover of the folio, and we've got the back. Okay, so I think this video is long enough. I'm going to film a part 2 so you can see how I decorated on the inside. Okay, so I will see you next time. Bye.